Buying a house is one of the biggest financial decisions of your life. Whether you're first time buying or a seasoned homeowner, one truth never changes. Budgeting properly will make or break your real estate journey. Too many buyers only think about the down payment and monthly mortgage, but in reality, buying a home comes with a long list of hidden costs, ongoing expenses, and unexpected surprises that can derail even the best financial plans. In this video, we're going to break down every single expense you'll face when buying a home, how to budget for them, and how to protect yourself from financial stress, and how to actually come out ahead. We'll walk through everything from upfront costs like inspections and appraisals to ongoing expenses like property taxes, HOA fees, and maintenance. We'll even talk about strategies for building a cushion into your budget so that no matter what comes your way, you'll be prepared. Think of this as an ultimate budgeting blueprint for homeowners. If you watch this all the way through, you know more than 99% of buyers, and you'll be able to approach your next home purchase with complete confidence, clarity, and control. So grab a notebook, buckle up, and let's dive into the world-class guide to budgeting for real estate the smart way. Budgeting for a home isn't just about knowing how much house you can afford. It's about protecting yourself from financial stress and ensuring your purchase actually helps you build wealth instead of draining it. The truth is, a lot of buyers fall in love with the house, stretch their budget to make it happen, and then find themselves struggling to handle repairs, taxes, or unexpected costs. This is how people become house poor, living in a beautiful home they can barely afford while sacrificing vacations, savings, and just peace of mind. Smart budgeting is about taking control before you even start looking at houses. It means running the numbers ahead of time, planning for the worst case scenarios, and making sure your housing costs leave room for you actually to enjoy life. When you budget properly, you're not just buying a house, you're building a stable financial foundation that can support your future goals, whether that's travel, investing, starting a business, or sending your kids to college. Another key point is that budgeting gives you negotiating power. When you know your numbers inside and out, you're far less likely to get caught up in emotional bidding wars or pressured into making a deal that doesn't work for you. You can walk away with confidence because you know exactly what your limits are. Sellers and agents can sense this confidence, and it makes a stronger buyer in any market. Finally, remember that budgeting is not a one-time thing. Your budget is a living plan that you'll adjust as you move through the process. From saving for a down payment to handling closing costs to planning your first year in the house, treat it like a roadmap, and it will guide you safely through one of the biggest financial moves in your life. When most people think about budgeting for a home, three expenses immediately come to mind: the down payment, closing costs, and the monthly mortgage. These are the headline numbers, but each one has more layers than most people realize. First, the down payment. Traditionally, people assume you need 20% down to buy a house. While that's still a golden standard, especially if you want to avoid private mortgage insurance, the reality is that many programs allow you to buy with as little as 3 to 5% down, and VA loans now even allow 0% down for qualifying buyers. The key is not just how much you put down, but how the decisions impact your financial flexibility. A bigger down payment lowers your monthly mortgage, but it also ties up cash you could use for emergencies or investments. The smartest move is to strike a balance, enough down to make your payments comfortable, but not so much that you're left without reserves. Next, closing costs. These typically run between 2 and 5% of your home's purchase price, and they cover everything from lender fees, title insurance, attorney costs, appraisals, inspections, and prepaid property taxes. For a $400,000 home, that could be $8,000 to $20,000 on top of your down payment needed. Too many buyers forget this plan and they scramble at the last minute. By budgeting for the high end of that range, you'll never be caught off guard. Finally, the monthly mortgage. This isn't just about principal and interest. You'll also need to budget for taxes, insurance, which can vary dramatically depending on where you live. In some states, property taxes are low, but insurance is high. The safest way to budget is to look at your principal, interest, taxes, and insurance payment, or PITI. That's the real monthly cost of your home, and it should never exceed 28 to 30% of your gross monthly income. While the big three expenses grab most of the attention, the forgotten costs are the ones that can cause the most financial strain. These include things like home inspections, appraisals, moving expenses, HOA fees, and maintenance. A home inspection might run $400 to $700, but it's one of the best investments you'll ever make. It can save you tens of thousands of dollars in future repairs by uncovering hidden issues before you close. Budget for it and never skip it. Similarly, the appraisal fee, usually $400 to $600, is required by lenders to ensure the home is worth what you're paying. These upfront costs aren't glamorous, but they're essential. Then there's the cost of moving. Whether you hire professional movers or rent a truck yourself, you'll need to budget anywhere from a few $100s to several thousand, depending on the distance and amount of belongings you have. If you're moving across state lines, don't be surprised if costs soar. Add to that the need for new furniture, curtains, or appliances, and suddenly moving day becomes a much bigger line item. HOA fees are another sneaky expense. These can range from $50 a month in small communities to over $1,000 in luxury developments with pools and security. Always ask upfront what the HOA fee covers. Sometimes it includes maintenance, sometimes it's just for basic services. Over the life of your mortgage, HOA fees can add up tens of thousands of dollars, so don't overlook them. Buying a home isn't just about the first year, it's about planning for decades ahead. This is where long-term expenses and financial planning come into play. First, think about property taxes. These aren't static. They typically rise over time, especially as home values increase. So smart buyers look at historical tax trends in their county to estimate how much they might rise in the future. Second, consider insurance costs. Homeowners insurance can fluctuate based on inflation, natural disasters, and even changes in local building costs. If you're in a flood or hurricane-prone area, your premiums can skyrocket unexpectedly. This is why it's so important not to only budget for current insurance, but keep a cushion for potential increases. Finally, consider lifestyle and family changes. Buying a bigger home might also mean buying more furniture, higher commuting costs, or even childcare if you move further from work. Think about how your life will evolve in the home over 5, 10, or 20 years and budget accordingly. So how do you bring all of this together into a smart, workable plan? The best budgeting strategy for real estate is called the comprehensive housing budget. It takes every expense we've discussed and organizes it into 3 categories: upfront, monthly, and annual. Upfront costs include down payment, closing costs, inspections, appraisals, moving, initial furnishings. Monthly costs, of course, are mortgage, HOA fees, utilities, internet, ongoing subscriptions tied to your home. And annual costs include property taxes, insurance premiums, maintenance, reserves, and large repairs. By laying everything out in these 3 categories, you'll see the full picture of what your home actually costs. Then apply the 28 to 36 rule. This means your housing costs, PITI, should not exceed 28% of your gross monthly income, and your total debt payments, including car loans, credit card, and student loans, should not exceed 36% of your take-home pay. Following this rule ensures you don't become house poor and have enough room to enjoy life. The final step is building in a cushion. Whatever your budget says, add an extra 10 to 15% buffer for surprises, because life is unpredictable and homes are no exception. This cushion is what keeps you from going into credit card debt when the furnace breaks or the property taxes rise. Think of this as a safety net strategy. By preparing for the worst, you give yourself the freedom to enjoy the best parts of home ownership: stability, pride, and the chance to build generational wealth. At the end of the day, budgeting for a home is not about limiting yourself. It's about liberating yourself. It's about buying a house with confidence, knowing you've accounted for every expense, planned for the unexpected, and built a financial future that supports your dreams instead of crushing them. So whether you're buying your very first home or upgrading to your forever home, this budgeting framework will help you avoid stress, stay ahead of the game, and actually enjoy the process. So if you found this guide helpful, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this with anyone you know who's thinking about buying a home. The more prepared we all are, the stronger and smarter our communities become. I'm Cameron Grant, and I'll see you in the next video, where we'll dive into even more strategies to help you master real estate and build wealth the smart way. Thanks for watching, guys.